My fiancé secretly invited his ex-girlfriend to attend our wedding. After she turned him down, I discovered that he had 5 phony social media profiles to track her and was obsessed with the idea that she remained pure. I am 23 years old and getting married in January. I just discovered out that my fiancé, Mark false name, 25, invited his ex-girlfriend to our wedding without notifying me beforehand. To give you some context, Mark and I met on a dating app 2 years ago after he had broken up with someone. To be honest, I'm not sure what he and Tracy 22F had. After meeting through a mutual friend, they developed feelings for each other. Mark told me it wasn't just about the firm. They never dated or slept together. He still retains her gifts and love letters and speaks of her. Tracy and him attempted to stay in touch as friends following their breakup, but she ghosted him when she discovered we were dating. I saw on her social media that she's in a relationship, so I doubt she'll want to get back together with my fiancé. It's been 2 years since their last conversation. He still has her email and phone number, however. I discovered he had invited her when I went over our guest list again and saw her name. Tracy isn't a threat to our relationship, but Mark's decision to invite her without informing me makes me feel horrible about our wedding. Despite telling me that he has no feelings for her, he still invited her. My dread that he will not get over her is gradually taking over. I know it's just me being anxious. I don't want to lose him. If LP responded to commenter 1, he's likely still not over her. Especially given that they never existed. She may be the one who got away from him. If I were LP, I'd talk to him about some really significant issues. Wow. I'm not sure why. He's still not over her if they were never together. Mark informed me he didn't want to be in a relationship because Tracy had just had her first child. He also went behind your back and invited someone whose love letters he had saved? He did not tell you about it. If having her there is more important to him than your happiness at your own wedding, you may wish to postpone it. While she may not pose a threat to your relationship, it appears that her feelings for you are. I don't understand why he's still interested in her after 2 years of not speaking with her. Tracy has been a part of his life and past for a long time. Commenter 3, tell him you do not want her there, and that's it. He needs to retract what he said, or you may have to reconsider getting married, because going behind your back is not a healthy way to begin a married life. To be honest, you shouldn't stick with someone you don't trust, and someone who does bad things behind your back isn't someone you can trust. Oh no, I'm not bothered by her attending the wedding because I know she won't do anything. What's wrong is that my fiancé invited her to the wedding without informing me first. Yes, Mark could have her there. Oh, how I wish he had told me ahead of time. This makes me believe he lied about being over her. Commenter 4. Tell me again why you believe she will do. Nothing. You should not marry if you don't trust him not to have contact with an ex-girlfriend. Out of the box. Tracy has a boyfriend and is expecting a baby. For the record, she blocked him everywhere when she discovered we were dating. Update 1 October 19th, 2024. After reading the comments and speaking with other friends, it became clear to me that Mark never truly moved on from Tracy. I didn't believe what was going on at first, but I went out with Tom, 24M, his longtime friend, to find out the reality. Tracy and Mark apparently met through mutual friends. It was her freshman year of college, and she was 17 years old. Mark was almost done with school. After 2 years of friendship, they developed affections for one another. They exchanged love, letters and gifts, and spent nearly every holiday together. But Mark was already working when Sarah was in college. He intended to date her officially once she graduated, so they never went out together. Tom informed me that all of their old acquaintances assumed they were going to marry since they were so good to each other. As a result, their split came as quite a surprise. Tracy broke up with Mark because their religious beliefs did not coincide, to save herself until she could marry. In the end, they decided to go their separate ways. They may try again in a few years. But once Mark and I started going on dates, Tracy saw no reason to wait for him and began dating other people as well. To start again, she blocked all of her contacts save for email. I finally realized that Mark is just hoping Tracy will come back to him because they had discussed trying again later. I loved him so much, it hurt so much. I haven't spoken to him about it since I'm still upset, but I don't believe this marriage will happen. I'll let you know once I've calmed down and talked to him about it. Change to October 25th, 2024. If you haven't heard anything in a while, I am here to inform you that the wedding has been canceled. My parents are canceling everything for me. It's like if I'm back in childhood, where my parents had to resolve my problems. After meeting with Tom, I approached Mark and told him everything I'd been going through. At first, he talked over her, as if he was attempting to escape the situation. Mark stated in the end that he had never loved somebody that much because it was so genuine and honest. She informed him that life isn't just about sexual desire, and Tracy was a bright spot in his life throughout the darkest periods. It hurts so much to hear the man you love express how much he loved someone else. Throughout the conversation, I began to scream and bawl my eyes out. That is correct, Mark told me he loves me, but it is not the same love. When I questioned him why he invited her to our wedding, he couldn't respond. Why did he have to sacrifice our future for something that happened in the past? It aches us a lot. Mark said he knew Tracy hadn't blocked him on email because he helped her get her first job and done a lot of work during that time. He sent her our wedding invitation in this manner, although he meant no harm. Mark told me he wanted her to see us together and understand what she had lost because he was sad Tracy was pregnant and unmarried. When Mark informed me that Tracy was pregnant, a red flag went up in my thoughts. How did you know she would be pregnant? You stated that she obstructed your path everywhere. I noticed anxiety in his eyes as he began to stutter. Last but not least, I requested him to give me his phone, and I discovered over 5 ways to stalk Tracy. I felt sick to my stomach and wanted to puke up. I finally decided to get out of the engagement since he was a creep. Mark fell on the ground and begged forgiveness. He says, "I love you, but not in." The same way that Tracy does, he was upset because Tracy slept with someone else as he begged her for sex several times. This made me detest him even more, because he believed he had the right to her body and innocence. I left without a bag. It's just too much. I can't believe I spent 2 years loving a creeper and a man-child. I also told Tracy everything, including all of his stories. I hope she received my texts. But I don't know. My lust for her changed to sadness since Mark has put no woman through what she had. Mark wants to spend out with me and does not want to end our relationship, but I am quite exhausted. Change 3 October 26th, 2024. I believe this is the final report because I have already discussed what happened with Tracy. When we first met at a coffee shop, I was apprehensive since I didn't know how she would react because her only response was, "Let's talk over a cup of coffee." While I was waiting for her, I felt a lot of emotion in my body. When Tracy showed up, I realized why Mark was so obsessed with her. She is one of the most attractive women I have ever seen. Her photos are lovely, but I believe she appears even better in person. She asked if I would want to meet her at her place to chat. She becomes really fatigued after spending a long time outside. It was unusual that we ordered coffee to go. Let's speak about what she said now. She first apologized for being the reason I'm alone now, but I told her it wasn't her fault. Tracy stated she received the invitation, but she did not want to attend our wedding because she was now in a great relationship and saw no reason to see someone from her past. Based on what Tom and Mark told me, I became curious about whether or not they would remain friends. It sounded like she intended to stay with him after the split, which was completely contrary of what she did. Tracy felt uneasy when I asked her the question, but she still explained why she said what she did. Mark was her first love, thus she fell deeply in love with him at first. She described him as a defender, someone she could trust, attractive, and caring because he often bought her gifts and took her on trips. Mark kept pressing her to have sex, but she would lie about being sick to avoid him. At first, everything seemed fine and charming. The idea of sleeping with him made her feel blocked, like if a sixth instinct was warning her not to do it. She was sick and tired of everything, and she used her parents' religious beliefs to justify having sex all the time. They had a disagreement, which Mark never told me about, and broke up. So, after 2 weeks, they began conversing again. She felt as if she owed him a lot because he helped her acquire a position at a well-known company and gave her several presents, food, and trips. Dad gave her a Rolex for her 18th birthday, which irritated me because Dad had never spent this much money on me before. Tracy was thrilled to learn that Mark and I were seeing each other. She now had a valid cause to block him everywhere, as he continued hinting that they would sleep together. Finally, I told her that Mark would occasionally talk about her throughout their relationship. At first, it seemed bizarre. I didn't think much about it because she was a part of his story, I also told her about Mark's various accounts. She didn't trust me at first, but I showed her the accounts I was familiar with. It was creepy because they all had female identities, photos, and followers. They all seemed real. I requested that Tracy hide her account because it is public. Then she created a new account using her Korean identity and closed the old one. We had a great time and became buddies. I witnessed her partner treat her like a queen, and she is a lovely girl. I'm delighted she found love and split up with Mark. Leave comments where the OP has responded. Commenter 1. It sounds like everyone escaped Mark's bullet. It was not a bullet. After all, it resembled a nuclear bomb too. I truly hope she takes action about Mark's pursuing her. His recent actions have been really frightening. I truly feel horrible for this woman. He can't achieve anything decent since he has grown obsessed, especially if he goes insane after you split up with him. Commenter 3. I am pleased you told her. A frightening number of pregnant women with psychotic stalkers are slain. I can't begin to imagine how embarrassing, terrible, and difficult the conversation and scenario must have been for you. I believe it's fantastic that you spoke with her and showed her all of their accounts so she could stay secure and informed. You now understand that you did everything possible to safeguard another vulnerable lady, regardless of what she did or what happened. That reveals a lot about your personality, attitude, and overall class and grace. You will meet an incredible person who adores you and shares your optimistic, polite, and character-driven personality. I know you'll smile. I hope you post an update about being passionately in love and very happy 3 years later. Next story, smile. My spouse and I decided to go out with a friend as a trio. He was upset because I was having too much fun and stormed out during it. We have been married for 3 years and together for 8 years. We have fun with our sex life, but had a wonderful friendship with someone. For the past month and a half, we've been discussing how to open up our relationship so that we may do things together. I've just known him, but he's been through a lot. We have close friends who have been together for a long time and have always maintained open relationships. Our female friend and I are considering doing something together. People have been teaching us for a long time that we only desire physical results, not mental ones. We established ground rules and decided that if we proceeded, we would be completely open and discuss everything. We've talked about it a lot and decided we want to go ahead with it. Because we reside in different states, we'll have to organize a get-together someday. Yesterday, we traveled to see relatives and friends. I believe it will be a nice get-together today, as he made no mention of doing anything with those people. Around 10:30 p.m., he informed me he wanted to do something with her. Soon after, she grabbed me aside to inform me that my spouse had told her that. I didn't want to participate at first since, 1, he didn't specify that it was a 3-way, and 2, I was exhausted. After more truth or dare games, I finally participated, and it was fantastic. I quickly took a shower and prepared, while they continued on their own. He had already left, and they were waiting for me when I returned. We kept going, and it was incredibly enjoyable. After I got off, he simply remained there staring at us. We asked him to come over, but he declined, so we left the house. I hurriedly dressed with a companion and ran out to follow. He was discussing how uncomfortable and irritated he was, and how it was affecting his entire mood. We requested a buddy to give us space, but I won't go into too much detail. My husband basically told our buddy that he did not appreciate seeing me in that circumstance, and that the sex was inappropriate. It was now 2 a.m., and I didn't want to look crazy fighting outside, so I told him we could continue inside after some back and forth. He claimed he felt awful since she was making fun of me while I was having fun. He didn't say anything, so it accumulated inside him. He just departed. I was attempting to comprehend and chat more about this at first, but my friend told me that they had previously discussed it and that she thought he was fine. I didn't comprehend what was going on because I assumed it was late at night. He told her that I had known about this for a month while chatting and discussing it with her. She was extremely open with me. She handed me her phone and showed me all of the texts and messages in which she reiterated that she believes I should be informed or made aware of it in order to be all right with it. I always told her I was fine with it. This is where everything went wrong. He told us all lies. He has concealed things from me, and worse, he has said or done things in such a way that I agree with him. I told him in front of our friends that what he did violated every rule we had established. I even find out that he came in during this. We argued all night until 6 a.m. I really don't believe we can get back on track. Because he constantly lies and blames me. It's not about the sex. As I ripped him a new one, he admitted all of his shortcomings and made no excuses. He was confident that this would not be an issue because I had agreed to accompany him. He also thought the sex was unfair since I felt like I was getting more attention than he was. He had already finished by the time I got involved. Because I was having sex with him, everything contributed to him behaving out. He simply asked that I allow him to have fun, but he won't let me have fun either. He returned to our home state, but I will remain here for another 2 weeks. I've been bouncing back and forth between sadness, anger, and nothing. That's fine if this isn't very clear or contains too few facts. This is the first time I've written a post this long. I can provide more information and ask you questions. He did this because he felt insecure, but I'd appreciate some advice on how to approach him about it and figure out why he thought it would be okay. How do I go about it? What can I do to show him that his actions were wrong? Comment where Op replied, Commenter 1, I get that. But if it's meant to be a trio, you'd think she'd say, wait a minute, let's wait for her, she did. Boop. She kept asking me to come over and talking me through any worries I had. We trust each other completely and are very close friends. He told her over and over that I knew, so she didn't push too hard. In all of her texts, she always talked about me and how I should know. I understand that. But if it was meant to be a trio, you'd think she'd say, wait a minute, let's wait for her. It's possible that he lied to her about that too, Commenter 3. But don't worry, she wants us to start while she gets ready. That's a good chance. The plan was for there to be 3 of them, so this still seems strange to me. We had planned to go out as a trio, but he asked to go out alone without telling me. If he had been honest with me, I really wouldn't have cared about anything. Skeptical Commenter 4, if you and she are such good friends, why hadn't she talked to you about the texts at all in the past month? Wow, we're all really close friends who trust each other completely. I would ask her what kind of seeds she likes if she told me tomorrow that she is a bird. He kept telling her things were okay and then took advantage of her trust, even if they could figure this out. I doubt their friendship with him would stay clean. I just wanted to give you some more information. On the first, I told him to go to therapy. Before he could get some lessons in, I wouldn't do anything or talk to him. In this way, I can enjoy time with friends and family while also taking some time for myself. Another friend of ours says that he has already signed up for some classes and is now just waiting for an appointment. If you ask me, I don't care about sex or the act of having sex, I only care about him. There's no need for it in my life, but I love my husband and want to hit it with him 3. He told me over and over again for weeks that he agreed with me we get our nuts and go. It's clear that he lied about that too. 4. My friend didn't know he went in until I came back and he said it. We were both shocked. She is now on BC and has been cleaned out as much as is reasonable. 5. I yelled at him non-stop for about 4 hours and tore him a new one. That being said, I'm not sure if he really knows what he did. I really don't care about the sex or texting if he only tells me about it. 6. My friends and I trust each other a million times over. People would make me soups and drinks if he told them I was sick. They wouldn't even ask me directly. He told her over and over that I was fine, even though I knew I wasn't. I will probably let you know if there is anything else. Thanks to everyone who replied. We had already talked about this with our friends, but not with him, and most of the things that were said below were brought up. But it's nice to see that other people feel the same way. Have a good night or day, everyone. Leave comments where Op has answered, Commenter 1. You were friendly with each other. Then they chose to end it by starting a good relationship. He was stupid and messed it up in his own way. Another stupid thing the Op did was stay with the other sex partner for 2 more weeks, which made things even worse. This will only make things worse between them. Your friend's house is where you should go to talk to your husband about the problem before going back to your own. You could also go stay with your parents instead of your friend to have more sex. Believe me, this will destroy you. You'll feel terrible about what you did, but it will be too late to change your mind. You can say that your husband is to blame for everything and then use that to get what you want. But that will only fool yourself. Best of luck. I didn't stay with them though. My family and I stopped by to say hello while I was there. I've always wanted to have that kind of sex with him. He needs to see a doctor before we can talk, because I found out more bad news. I want to get as low as he did.